let's go back to Europe. We haven't talked about Europe in, it hasn't been that long actually, but it feels like it's been a long time because every day we were talking about them. Now the market's calmed down. Everyone seems to forget about Europe, but as you just heard David Wessel tell us, Ben Bernanke and Tim Geithner both said, don't forget about Europe. Vincent Cignarella can't forget about it.
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah. DJ, FX trader, columnist Vincent Cignarella. I saw something this morning, and I started talking this morning to Kate, our producer, and I said, let's talk about Portugal. You have already leapfrogged Portugal.
Jumped right over Portugal.
Right over Portugal, which has already taken a bailout. And now we're talking about Spain. Is Spain the next domino?
Spain. Yes.
And this is a bigger problem than Greece.
Yeah. Much bigger economy.
Portugal is a problem. Don't get me wrong. Portugal does not have a very integrated economy. It's largely export driven, and 25% of our exports roughly go to Spain, which is predicted by the IMF to have a 1.7% decline, basically recession this year. Where that leaves Portugal is obviously in a lot of trouble, but what people don't realize is that Spanish banks, Spain rather, owns roughly 65 billion euros of Portugal debt. Those are the Spanish banks. So if Portugal trips, Spain stumbles in a very, very big way.
Now Spain, look, it's been well documented, they have some huge problems. Unemployment, huge problem.
Yeah,
the housing crash there is a huge problem.
20,
25, whatever.
Depends on who you ask. It's roughly 25%, 22 to 25%, depending on which age group you look at. It's the largest in Europe.
Unbelievable. Even if you say it's 20%, it's a huge number.
Yeah.
Very, very quietly, under the radar, what people aren't realizing. People look at the overall sovereign debt to GDP. And you look at Spain and you say, it's not that bad. It's 66% of their sovereign debt is equivalent to GDP. That's up from 40%.
It sounds like one of the best numbers in any of the Western nations.
They also have 227% of private debt compared to GDP, which is the highest of all of Europe, and that's equivalent to what Japan's public debt is to GDP. So you take overall Spain's debt structure. If you look at private debt, whether it's corporate or residential debt, that starts to fail. That will move.
And the problem with that debt, both public and private, it's growing.
It is growing.
In an economy, and this is what all the Southern European economies have is they're not growing. The debt is growing.
They're contracting.
Spain did what every.
And is there a bailout coming? I mean,
for Spain, inevitably, most likely. I mean, if
and who's going to fund that? Germany,
of course.
France,
Germany is the ultimate checkbook.
This is exactly what the gentlemen down on Capitol Hill were just saying. Europe needs a larger firewall for Spain. Spain, the fourth largest economy in Europe, one of the top 10 in the world. This is a big economy. If they go down, if they can't pay their debt, if they have problems, this thing blows up much bigger than it did with Greece, right?
The ring fencing is an illusion. It hasn't really been done yet. It's one domino after the next. Greece was insignificant compared to the problems of Spain, and you still have
beans,
and you still have Ireland, Portugal. There's so many things to deal with, but inevitably the buck stops with the largest debtors and creditors, and it's going to be
okay. Give us a timeline because we're running short. Give us a timeline on Spain.
It's hard to pick the exact time the penny drops, but you're going to have to go through. I would say somewhere in the summertime is when the issues will probably really start to heat up.
All right. Enjoy your spring, folks. That's that, right? All right, Vincent Cignarella, thank you very much. Talk to you soon.